Morning, everybody. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Marty.
I'd like to welcome everyone to our Intentional Living podcast, our first recorded podcast of December, the last month of 2025. Lots of stuff going on in life, and our podcast, the intention is focused on the something that Socrates said many hundreds of years ago. He said the secret of change is to focus all of our energy not on fighting the old, but on creating the new. And so, those of you who've been following the podcast, those of you who are participating in intentional living meetings know that we're all dealing with energies that were developed for us as in our childhood as little kids and in often very difficult emotional environment, oftentimes alcoholic parents or dysfunct parents with various emotional challenges, and we just inherited them. And then we grew up and found that we had difficulties in our lives. I can safely say that's true of the two men that you see here on the screen, myself and my dear friend Dan. But we've been talking about, as we prepared for this, we're talking about the solution. We This is what Socrates is telling us: is don't pay attention, don't fawn over or admire the old emotional challenges, but work on discovering the key to liberation and creating the lives that we want to live as conscious adults. And so, one of the things that we were talking about, Dan, is that the key to that has to do with developing a conscious relationship with our emotional body, and that's a highfalutin. Those are highfalutin words. What does that mean practically to you, and what can we offer to the newcomer who might be watching this for the first time?
Um, being present in, one of the things is, I want to say right off the bat is that the head and the body are not separate. They're one unit. And when we say the emotional body, that includes the mind, or it includes the head as well as the arms and the legs and the torso.
Yeah, and can I just stop right there? It's I can't I can't agree with you more. And to help, this is the thing that challenged me for a long time in this work, because we're trained to think our thinker and our body are somehow disconnected.
Right.
And one of the things that we're working on, you and I and John and those of us who have been doing this work for a while, is to surrender to or sink into the sense that this body and thought thing are working together like hand and glove, and there is no separation. Even though we can identify the experiences separately, that's just the outcome, but it's not the source.
Right. So, and one way I like to explain it is that the trauma that I experienced, the childhood that I had, um, has set a tone or set a standard, where in my body safety equals, in my body and mind, they work together. It's really hard to find a word that
Yep.
that uh, you know um, but I'm just the internal world. I'm going to say the internal world of uh, the organism that is called Dan Gutierrez. About
Okay. Good.
that.
Good. It's a start.
uh, yeah, and the relationship that needs to or can happen. The physical. There's a lot of physical, medical evidence that states that the organism can't heal if it's under stress, and it can't heal. It can't do what it's supposed to do, repair itself. All these preventive maintenance, sleep, eat well, digest your food well, process your food. Doesn't work well when it's under a duress or a load. Um, if it's under that load continuously, things happen. Uh, Parts wear out way before they're supposed to, um, and that's just an overview. So what I'm talking about is to bring the organism in alignment to a state where it can rest, repair, and rejuvenate. And then all things are possible in that state. It's very difficult to grow and learn under a state of threat, adrenalized, being adrenalized, hypervigilant, being in that state. It's very difficult to apply tools because that state translates into survival mode. And it's not a mystery why uh, I believe they have what's called Maslow's pyramid or whatever it is.
It's hierarchy of needs.
Higher,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was thinking the same thing when you were saying that.
Um, it's to develop the relationship with my emotions and my body sensations. I'm not gonna call them feelings, right? That's a word that people and emotions too. I'm gonna toss those out and just describe what we call sensations of the body, the entire body. Is when I can come to the awareness that through the use of the accountability tree, when I use the accountability tree, I state the truth about my behavior in relationship to people, places, and things. When I own the results in my life, um, for me, it's become a gateway to creating that safety, that sense, or that sense of safety and calm and the deactivation and bring the body down to a point where it can rest and rejuvenate. Um, so that's where all things are possible. Um, so recently, um, I've been discovering about myself through the awareness that my the body sensations that I have, if I have an awareness of what the significance or just even notice these things, notice what's going on in my body, pay attention, you know. So recently, to a great extent, I've been watching my patterns, watching my patterns. And I've just been watching, as an example, I've been watching my eating pattern. And it's like, okay, we're going to have breakfast. Okay, so I eat breakfast and then, I have a cup of coffee and oh, maybe I want a second cup of coffee. And it's like, I've got nothing to do. And here I am trying to gear myself up. I could see it. It's like, oh, what's going to happen when you drink that second cup of coffee? Well, I'm going to have all kinds of energy and we're going to get shit done here. And it's like, wow, okay, what's that about? Okay. I'm feeling something that I don't want to feel, and now I need to get distracted. And when I get myself caffeinated up, I become impulsive, and all of a sudden I've got a bunch of things to do. And when I'm doing all these things, I'm not thinking about what's really going on. So I have an experience where I'm happy, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking, well, how about a piece of pie would be good right now. And I go, oh yeah, piece of pie. And it's like, and how about two pieces of pie? And it's like, okay, there it is again. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling excited. And by eating, I quote unquote go, I'm rewarding myself. But what I'm doing is by eating, I'm also trying to emotionally regulate myself. Why do I binge watch on YouTube? So I can get out of feeling how I'm feeling. I'm starting to see that. Procrastination. All these behaviors are there generating a bodily experience, an organism or an organism's body experience, body chemistry.
And just to reemphasize what you said a few minutes ago, this is about the inner world. So no
Yes,
matter what the external stimulus might be, we're creating something that we want either consciously or subconsciously inside ourselves.
right.
In this case, in the category of body sensation.
Exactly. I want to be hyper vigilant because that's part of my childhood family of origin dynamic. And how do I create tension, hypervigilance, adrenaline? I'm good at it. I can pick fights. I can have arguments. I can quote unquote do what I'm not supposed to and then beat myself up for it. Um, God, I can put myself in a position where I don't make a decision. I vacillate between making a decision, not making a decision, making a decision, not making a decision. And it's like what I'm learning to do is I'm learning to own the results of the behavior without blame or judgment. When I can do that, I find myself in the truth, which I can. The truth is, I like the state of adrenaline. I create adrenalized state. I'm really good at it. I have a plethora of methods to do it.
So can I stop you right there just again for the newcomer? I'd like to point out what Dan just did, and this is the heart of our work. You just said you like feeling adrenalized, but that was an insight or that was a piece of information you had to come to because until you had the awareness of that, you couldn't have said that. So
Right. And
something happens in the recovery work that allows us to see something about ourselves that we had overlooked or didn't have the capacity to be aware of. Because once we become aware of, once you say, I like being adrenalized, then you have freed yourself up to choose whether that's something you want to continue. Whereas before you had no choice.
correct. And the key thing to remember here is when I own state or own my truth in the moment, it's without blame or judgment.
Right.
Because I haven't done anything wrong. My awareness or stating my truth is not an admission that I'm a bad person. I've done something wrong. Okay, that's critical. That's another one of those things that um, I got to learn. One of the
Yeah.
other principles that we have is we're always getting what we want. And if that, when I can embody that and know that that's the reality of it, I can get to the truth, irregardless of it doesn't have to make sense. The truth is, this is what I'm doing. And for me, the awareness can be, this is what I'm doing. Okay, own it, create the intention for. I intend to be open. I intend to revel in my adrenaline. I intend to accept, I intend to create a world of acceptance, compassion, connection, and the wisdom part. And by doing this over and over again, the wisdom shows up. Every time I'm accountable for the state that I'm adrenalized, I'm in a panic mode. I'm creating this panic. I'm creating this anxiety. I'm creating this drama. Um, each time I do that, I get greater insight into it. And part of the recovery thing for me is to today in this moment is that I can see my behavior not as a problem, but as a solution, as the key to creating the safety that I've always wanted but didn't know how to have. I had safety confused with adrenaline.
And again, this is all the subconscious level. This wasn't something that you could have
No,
you could have thought about until you got into,
no,
not you, but any of us, till we get into this process that we call the accountability practice.
correct. So when I can own the fact that I'm generating this, no blame, no judgment, then I have access to the solution, which is me. What do I need to learn to be calm, be safe, have the internal, be safe in my own skin? And then we can focus on the Socrates saying is I can focus all my energy on creating the safety and let the rest of it go because I've done this is what it boils down to me is I need to create safety on the internal world. I need to be in a safe relationship with the body sensations that are happening. I need to translate what's happening. And just matter of fact, this morning I came to the awareness that my anxiety, my fear, and my adrenaline is a call for love.
Hold on a second, okay? Sorry, folks, I got interrupted by the master calling, so I took the call. So we were
So
talking about
ah,
safety.
so what I've through having going through these experiences, allowing myself to feel this uh, body sensations, which I label fear, anxiety, adrenaline, not trying to fix it, not trying to get out of it, but being present to it, allowing it to allowing it to be a part of me without changing it. We're designed to allow our emotions, our body sensations to give us wisdom about our life experience. I have been tuned to a different radio station all my life.
Well
I've
said.
been I've been tuned to the
KDYS.
yeah. Um, but to get to this moment, I've worked hard. I've worked hard. I've answered the question, what do I want that I don't have? And the last 5 years, it's been safety. I intend to be safe in my own skin over and
And
over and paid attention. And when I get activated or when I get adrenalized, it's because I'm operating for me just from a position of I don't know. I don't believe I can get help, but it's a call for love. It's a call for help and support. And it's I'm not alone in this, but the feelings that come up are really traumatic. It's like being trapped.
mm-hmm.
My conditioning has trapped me in this little box where I don't have the resources to solve the problem because I was never taught. Um, Go to your room till you figure it out, which excludes everybody else. And I keep operating from that. So it never goes away. And what I'm coming to realize for myself is that I can ask for help. And not only that, if safety is what I want, all I got, what's missing is my desire to learn how to create safety.
Well,
I
and also
intend,
could I just offer, it's not just that, but it's also noticing what is the inner condition in my body mind that equals safety. In other words, how do I how do I know I'm safe at the level of sensation? Because if I've been addicted to an adrenalized energy state as safety, then to unlearn that and discover something else takes also that took me time to be able to recognize safety as an inner feeling state. How do I know that I'm safe if I've only got this other way of proving it to myself?
right. Um, for some people, it's when they hit rock bottom, or for other people, it can be a choice. If life's not working for you, what do I need to learn? Because if your life's not working, there's absence of information. You're not bad. There's nothing wrong with you. You've just manifested certain information, and this is the results that's in your life. No blame, no judgment. If I want different results, I need to learn new things. That's the bottom line. I don't need to unlearn anything. I need to learn something new. What is it I want that I don't have gives me that direction. That direction comes from me being aware of my mind body experience and allowing those feelings as best I can to be in them. I intend to be safe in my emotional body. Gives me the opportunity to reconnect to myself because trauma is the disconnection from self. So I can use my intuitive gift as a human being and create an alignment with the rest of me to use my feelings, which are touch, sight, sound, hearing. Those are feelings. My heart signals, which are my emotions, and my thoughts. These are the three gifts I have. So if I don't use my thinking, my rational brain or whatever, to put this stuff together, I create a life that's thoughtless. If I don't use my emotions, I create a life that's heartless. And if I don't use my sensory input, I create a life of senselessness. Combine those three, that's when I'm functioning at my best. And that's what from recovery has gotten or has exposed exposed the wisdom of those things. I can't think my way out of where I'm at because my thinking has got me here. And for me, the experience has been is that I struggled, excuse me, I struggled with being in my emotional body and not reacting to how I'm feeling. I don't have to react to how I'm feeling. I don't have to avoid this feeling. I don't have to avoid feeling sad or angry. There's nothing wrong with being sad. There's nothing wrong with being hurt. There's not, there's nothing wrong with being happy. What do I need to learn about to be in my emotions, to allow them to be? And it's like, well, why do I have them? Well, they're there for you to give you some information. Evolution has designed us with what we need to survive. And if we dismiss our emotions, or if we've been conditioned to not be in our emotional body through trauma or whatever, then I'm missing a key part of my recovery, which is the reconnection to myself.
And I'd like to point out at a practical level that part of the, you use the term emotional regulation, uh, part of the ability to be with our emotions for me was learning to let whenever I'm having an inner sensation, which we might label as fear or grief or those words, but the sensation itself, that if I stay with it, this is the accountability tree, feel what I'm feeling and then say what I want. So when I stay with a feeling, I can count on my body processing it and completing it. So if I'm feeling what I call sad, a sensation, I may tear up or whatever, that if I stick with that, not only am I befriending that, I'm making a commitment to myself to be just the way I am, but I can trust that this is not going to last. What happened to us as little kids is oftentimes those emotional states that were threatening to our parents were violated, shut down. You don't need to feel that way. I'll give you something to cry about. Go to your room until you feel, but all those kinds of things blocked the natural completion of that energy in our bodies. And so part of this process in recovery is just learning to allow those feelings, those sensations to process. Like you said earlier, to stick with them and let them complete. No blame or judgment. So when I have blame or judgment of what's going on inside me, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to prevent it from completing. But if I accept myself just the way I am, including I've got these inner sensations that are painful, difficult, make me squirm, whatever, but I commit myself to being with them, they will end. And in that clearing that shows up as they end, I can say, what do I want? And for me, that's where this new understanding of safety gets implanted. When I stick with myself, no matter what I might have previously in a past life have done to myself to stop it, change it, fix it, all those kinds of verbs. No, I'm just going to be with it. That's an act of love. And you said earlier about cry for love. That's an act of love for myself, just to be with my, particularly the things that are difficult to be with. But when I can be with those feelings and let them complete, because they will, then I'm in that space where I say, what do I want going forward? I want to feel calm. I want to feel safe. I want to feel serene. I intend to feel calm. I intend to feel safe. I intend to feel serene. And now we're back in behaving with ourselves the way we were designed. This, as you said about evolution, has designed us in a certain way. There's a reason why our bodies have these feeling sensations, and there's a reason why our bodies are designed to, I like to use the term like a tuning fork. Just feel that vibrational energy, and then it calms down and passes, and it will be replaced by something else. And so our bodies are always feeling something. Sometimes the feeling states are intense and that get our attention, and sometimes they're just background, low level, calm, easygoing, whatever. But the key, as you said, is just willing to be with ourselves without blame or judgment.
Right. A lot of times for me is like when I first started doing this, noticing my emotional state, I realized that what was easier for me was if I imagined myself at 3 or 4 years old
Mm,
having the experience I'm having as an adult,
right.
how would I, as an adult, act toward that child? That's how I can act toward myself. Sometimes it's easier to envision doing it for someone else or a child, but I'm actually doing it for myself
Sure.
because the relationship that I'm developing is with myself.
Yep.
And I've learned that the relationship why it's been challenging is because I've been using emotional verbal violence to coerce myself into correct behavior because that's what I was given. Shame, blame, guilt.
Yep.
I could teach a master class and how to apply those techniques to you know stunt your development or all in an effort to avoid those feelings. Don't you feel those things? Okay, well, too late I am. Okay, well, so out of shame, I won't talk anymore. I won't say how I'm feeling. I'll just go around going, all right, I'm fine, which is which does a disservice to me because I need to self-validate my experience because nobody else is doing it. So I didn't learn how to self-validate because I did anytime it came to self-validation, I moved away from it. Oh, Dan, you're doing, I mean, these are just examples. It's like, oh, Dan, I think you're great. You're doing a great job. And, yeah, yeah, yeah. Anybody could do it. I'm participating in my own dismissal, my own, you know,
Well, it's like we automatically adopted the weird validation that our parents gave us.
right.
Because
And it's like
that was where we learned it.
somebody who knows who's in their own power and has no problem saying that I am good at this and my translation is that guy's a braggart. I don't know who the hell he think he is. He's awfully
Right.
fucking arrogant. The nerve of that man. Who in the hell does he think he is? And that's just like, oh my God, there it is. I'm attacking this man for doing something that I can't, and he's terrible for it.
Right.
He's not he's not he has no self-restraint for God's sakes.
Yeah. Thus illustrating one of our principles: life is lived from the inside out.
Uh,
Well, we're coming to the end of our time together here, and this is a powerful conversation. Would you be willing to sum it up for us as we wrap up?
whatever I'm looking for in my life, whatever I want, I get to navigate, I get to move through my emotional body to get there. And then how do I want to navigate my emotional body? I intend to be safe in my emotional body.
All right. Thanks, Dan, as always.
Thanks, Marty.
And just to remind everybody who's watching that we do this work. Dan and I are describing the product of the work that he and I have done both together and on our own for the last 15 years or so. We do this work in group, and there are four intentional living groups that meet on a weekly basis, all of them on Zoom. And the different times and dates and addresses of the Zoom rooms will be at the end of the podcast. So please feel free to join us and experience this process for yourselves. You can come and jump right in the deep end, or you can come and just listen, whatever works for you. But we want to make this available to anybody who would like to learn about creating the life that you've always wanted to live, as opposed to the one that you feel stuck with. And so, with that, thanks, Dan, and we'll see you at the next one.
All right, Marty. Thank
Take
you.
care.